This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
I tried to fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. Cat drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares, but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go!
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to King of the Hill podcast. I'm Mike.
And I'm Rusty.
Guys, owe you a little bit of an apology. We've been gone for a little bit. I had trips I had to make. I went to Orlando, and then I came back for a couple of days, and then I drove to San Antonio, then I drove to Houston, and then came back. Then you got sick.
Yeah, I got dog-ass sick. I'm good now. I'm back.
It's that time of year, man. Everybody gets this crap, and then the cough never goes away for some reason.
Yeah, the cough lingers.
So if you guys were wondering, and thank you for still being here, those episodes that we put out, those were all generated in ChatGPT, and then they were read by a cloned voice of mine. So if I sounded like I was having a little bit of a stroke, it wasn't. It was just the computer that doesn't know what my voice sounds like. So
That's funny.
yeah, the cadence is a little weird. It'll be like, now I've cleared a space 12 by 8 by 4, that kind of.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just a little off. But it sounds like me, so there you go. All right. Well, let's get this sucker started. We're in Season 5, Episode 8, Twas the Nut Before Christmas.
Okay.
So
Which is a play on was the night before Christmas.
It is February in the year of our Lord 2024 here. And so it's a little weird to be doing a Christmas episode, but this is just the way they come. I mean, it's the order.
Yeah, it's whatever
right?
order they come in. Yeah, we don't pick that.
And the thing about this Christmas episode is it goes way into like February.
Yeah, it goes deep into February, so it kind of is fitting.
It's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad at all. Okay, so we start off no bell, no yell. We see a family of 4 or 6 or whatever it is in their station wagon driving down Rainy Street, which I have a question about the name of the street, by the way. I'm going to ask you here in a minute. But no bell, no yell. We see this family driving down the street. They've got a Christmas tree on top. Hear a couple of jingle bells, and they drive past Hank's house. We don't know who these people are or anything, but it's just to give us an idea that, hey, it's Christmas.
Yep.
And so all 4 of the guys are in the garage. Dale, Bill, Boomhauer, Hank. Hank says, now I've cleared a space 12 by 8 by 14 to hide Bobby's Christmas present. So when we're at the store, keep an eye out for a gift that size.
That's so weird.
He doesn't even know what he's buying him. He just knows this is the allotted amount of room we have. Dale says, last Christmas I hid Joseph's gift so well I still haven't found it. Cutest little puppy. Or should I say dog?
That's dark. Yeah, that's dark.
That is pretty dark. Bill, who just seems to always be depressed. Yeah, nothing like the face of a child on Christmas morning.
What's it like?
What's it like?
Yeah.
And
Weirdo.
Dale not giving a shit about anything, says, it's the greatest single thing on earth. That is, except for the hundreds of special moments that any dad shares with his child. I'm like, Jesus,
That's terrible.
Dale.
Rub it in his face, why don't you? Yeah.
And Bill just like, oh, sounds nice. And he starts to just kind of walk away. I just put depressed Bill out by it. He goes, I guess I'll go home all by myself and eat a pot pie. Today's turkey.
How many different kinds of pot pies are
depressing.
there?
I don't think there's a lot. I always had either turkey, chicken.
Well, anything called a pot pie
Yeah.
is usually, I've heard of a turkey pot pie and a
Yeah.
chicken pot pie,
Yeah.
but I thought like pot pies were like exclusive to poultry.
I want to
Okay.
say there's a beef one.
Yeah, but then that would
But-
just be like a beef. That would be just
Yeah.
like a meat pie.
It's
you know
like
what I
beef
mean? Like a
stew
beef
and a pie. Yeah, it's just not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
It
not the
just-
same. I don't think it's like a chicken pot pie.
This also coming from a guy though that used 2-week-old steak to make an omelet this morning, so I'm not real picky.
There you go.
Okay, so
The iron gullet.
it's ooh, I test that. Bill just starts walking away. He's all sad, and Dale's like, "See ya." I mean, he just it just doesn't even faze him. Hank, hey, Bill, you know I got some errands to run today. Going to the post office. Why don't you come along? Come on, it'll be fun. You can take a $5 bill and put it in the change machine. Pretend you're in Las Vegas. Ka-ching. I love how they treat Bill like he's like an 8-year-old, you know, all the time.
Yeah,
You
he
can go
he
there and
is,
run in a
though.
circle. That
He
kind
is
of thing.
kind of.
He is pretty much. So
He's one of those guys. I bet if you gave him a breathalyzer at any given point in the day, he would blow.
he would have a little
So
bit.
he is like he's
Yeah.
almost like a toddler in that sense.
That's true. That's true. Next thing we see, they're in the big old line at the post office. Of course, it's Christmas, so everybody's mailing off these gifts and stuff. And Bill is actually kind of excited to look at all this stuff. He goes, "Oh, look at all that mail!" You know, the big mail thing comes by, and
Yeah.
he goes, "I haven't gotten so much letter in 6 weeks." Hank's like, "Well, you know, it's a busy time of the year."
A letter in 6 weeks. Where are your bills coming in at? Like,
But Hank says, "Well, it's a busy time of the year. They probably just got backed up, or maybe they lost it." And of course, Bill, it doesn't even faze him that he's like, "Well, nobody likes me, and that why I haven't gotten anything in 6 weeks." He goes, "Yeah, you're right." And so he goes to he gets to the front of the line. He's at the counter. And he goes, "My name is Bill Dotrieve, and apparently you have lost my mail." And the postal employee, he goes, "I'll check in the back." So he goes to the back. Hank, of course, kind of knows the score here, and
Yeah.
so he goes up to the postal guy and he says, "Look, about my friend's lost mail, you're not going to find it." He goes, "I know that."
yeah, I know. Yeah.
We just walked to the back for show.
Oh, speaking of go to the back for show,
Yeah.
I know this is not kind of like off
No, you're
topic,
good.
but I was scrolling through social media and there's like this court case with Snoop Dogg and Master P are suing Post Cereal and Walmart
Really?
because Snoop Dogg apparently. I've been in Walmart and looked on the cereal aisle and I haven't seen it. Apparently, they were putting it in the back and people were going and approaching managers and managers were like, "Well, yeah, it's in our inventory, but we can't sell it because there's not a place for it." She
What,
says,
Snoop Dogg cereal? or
"Yeah, it
something?
was like, well, I don't know what the exact cereal is,
Snoop
but
Doggios.
they came out with a cereal brand and
Yeah.
Post felt threatened by that, and they should, like
sure,
Snoop
sure.
Dogg, like if people knew the cereal was on the shelf or saw it, it would clean the they'd clean the
Yeah,
shelf out just because
yeah.
the pop culture icon that he is.
Sure.
So they are now in a court case with them for
Well,
like,
grocery stores are also a pay-to-play thing. So, I mean,
Yeah.
to get shelf space, it costs a fortune.
yeah. And
know?
I'm sure that they probably, I'm sure they know that because the Master P has like wrap snacks
Yeah,
and stuff like that,
yeah.
the big chips, and then
Is he
they
the one
do
that
like
does Rap Snacks?
He does rap snacks and he does the branding deals with all the whoever like the major rappers always got like
Yeah.
a deal with Cardi B
Yeah.
and she has her own
Rap
chip
Snacks,
brand.
I used to laugh at Rap Snacks, but apparently he's made some real inways
No,
with
he's made
that.
some
He knew
really,
what he's
really
doing.
money. He knew
Yeah.
exactly what he was doing. He put it in every store that every convenience store
They're
everywhere
in a
pretty
lot
much.
of convenience stores around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. He goes, yeah, we just walked to the back of the show. He goes, Bill comes around. He goes, you may want to check William Dotrieve too. Bill is short for William. The postal guy says, if you want mail, we got these bags in the corner. I mean, these are all letters addressed to Santa Claus, always looking for
Send all the
volunteers.
Santa letters to him.
Yeah, he said, take one or two and buy a gift to make a needy kid happy. Hank is like, well, that's a great idea. I think I'll take one myself. How about you, Bill? You'd make a great Santa, and that's not a fat joke. He
Yeah,
says
well,
to him.
This is where the episode is weird to me. Is Bill is a late middle-aged
Yeah.
man
Yeah, it
who
feels
has
weird.
no kids
Yeah.
of his own.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that
It-
that's weird, but like
Well,
I'm
it
just
is a
saying from a
little weird.
Texas neighborhood, like from the perspective of
Yeah.
like somebody in a Texas neighborhood, and there's just like this drunk old man that's bald and has no kids of his own, no grandkids, like no attachment to anything to be Santa other than he's just so lonely and depressed. He wants to hang out with people's kids, so he feels less depressed.
Well,
it's such a weird thing.
And I also think that Bill likes kids because he's on their level.
Yeah, he
too, a
probably
little
connects
bit.
with them
Yeah.
a little bit better. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
He goes, well, that's not a fat joke. And, of course, Bill's like, oh. He goes, you really think so? And then he runs over and starts digging through the mail. Postal employee talks to Hank and says, that guy seems a little off. Hank says, Bill's great with kids. It's adults and holidays he seems to have a problem with.
That's a red flag, though. Whenever another adult tells me that so-and-so is great with kids, like that always like, oh, yeah, he's great with kids, but he's like some guy who has no kids. Like, why is he great with kids? That's kind of weird.
You know what I always think is like anybody that you run across that has the top button buttoned on their shirt. And if you're not like a cholo or something,
that's
you know,
masochist.
Then yeah, and they generally have, and
unless you're in like a business suit with a tie on and everything like that, it's just a guy that just has a button up on with the top button with no purpose other than just to have it to the top.
The large, oversized Jeffrey Dahmer glasses, you know, maybe hair part right down the middle. That kind of thing.
Anybody that likes to be choked that much, they walk around. They walk around choking themselves all day
with their own shirt.
Is scary. That's a scary individual.
All right. Next thing we see, we're at the Hill House at night. The whole group is in there wrapping gifts. Peggy says, "Does anyone see where I put my Scotch tape?" And then, boom, Dale pops up in the back. He's got all this Scotch tape hanging on himself like a beard. He goes, "Did you check under my chin?" And Hank's like, "Oh, you know, you fall for Dale's beard of tape every year, Peggy." Peggy's like, "Yes, I do." And I'm always a good sport about it.
Yeah.
She has to point out that she's a good sport. Bill is on the floor, of course. He goes, oh, my first wrapping party. Ow! I just cut my finger. Deep. Well, it doesn't compare to the pain of previous years when I didn't have any kids to wrap for. This is just so depressing with Bill.
It's a really rough episode. It's a really troubling episode.
Well, it's just like the one where he dresses like Lenore and all that. I mean, it's just every once in a while
weird.
Bill snaps a little bit. You know?
I got an Artie fact here.
Yeah, Artie.
I forgot to inject Artie's Artie facts.
By the way, Artie tried to come see me while I was in Orlando, but it was like a 2-hour drive and stuff, and I told him we're going to be in and out and all that. But thanks for trying, Artie. We got all your messages and everything.
Yeah, no worries, man. But yeah, so there is a post office program for letters to Santa. It's a real thing, and it's called the USPS Operation Santa. So they get thousands of letters each year, and then the program invites people to adopt and then respond to them. Apparently it began in 1912, but when they first started doing it, it was the postal workers that were doing it.
Sure.
And then by the 40s, I guess postal workers got tired of doing a job they weren't getting paid for, and they opened it to the public. And there's actually a documentary called Dear Santa.
Yeah, I think I've seen that because there's a couple of cities in the U.S. I don't know exactly how many. Artie probably knows, but that are literally they've changed the name of the city to the North Pole.
Oh, okay.
Just so that they get stamped that way whenever they go back to the kids.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Went to Santa's Village in Colorado one time. I have a hard time with Christmas year round. You know?
Yeah.
Like these Christmas stores and stuff like that. Once Christmas over, I don't want to see Christmas commercials.
Yeah, like the Hallmark store. Once Christmas is over, see you in Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I'm done.
See you in Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean?
You got it. I'm not big on New Year's parties and stuff like that, so I just don't care, you know?
Yeah, I don't really.
Oh, we got to watch the ball drop and count down. No, you go do that. I'm going to go over here and do something else. All right, so we're the next day at the post office. Bill is dropping off some of these packages. He goes, Matthew said he likes music, so I got him a trombone. I can't wait to see his expression on his face. And I love the fact that the gift looks like a trombone. It's wrapped, but you can tell it's a trombone. The postal guy says, you don't give the gifts yourself. You buy them, you wrap them, then we mail them and put the address as the North Pole. Bill says, does the mailman at least dress like Santa?
Why does it matter? Why would the
Santa?
Mailman dress like Santa? Yeah.
The guy says, nope. He doesn't. Every kid should get to see Santa. And then he has an idea, and he leaves. So this is when it starts. His descent into short-term madness here.
Yeah, really, really bad. And I actually have an artifact about this spray stuff here.
All right, so now we're at the Hill House. Bobby looks out the door, and he goes, oh, my God, it's snowing. And he runs into the backyard, and he's just like, wow. He's got his tongue out. He's catching it on his tongue and stuff. Hank goes, what the? You know, Peggy, it's snowing. She goes, that is not snow. It's 64 degrees.
Yeah.
She goes, that is the foam they spray on runways when jumbo jets are about to crash. Bobby, get in here. She's
That's terrible.
like
yeah.
a friggin' jet's going to crash on him.
Yeah, so this is the artifact about that. So it's highly discouraged to spray runways
shit.
with this foam on emergency
Yeah.
landing. They used to do a foam carpet so that whenever it landed like a crash landing or emergency landing, so it would prevent a fire, but they realized that it prevents no fire. So what it was trying to do is reduce friction whenever
Sure.
the aircraft was landing.
Well, you sure as hell
And,
don't want your kid
they
out there.
do not recommend to do that anymore.
Well, you sure as hell don't want your kid out there licking it up or putting his tongue out and catching it on its
I
tongue.
really don't know that I want my kid catching
don't think
real
that's
snow with their tongue,
That's
let
true,
alone
too.
some fake
Yeah,
foam
that's
snow.
true.
Yeah,
Don't eat the yellow snow.
don't eat any snow.
And so Hank hears some kids laughing off in the distance, and he looks around and he sees Santa Village set up at Bill's house. Kids are sledding. Bill is dressed up like Santa. He's giving out gifts. There's a bouncy house, all kinds of crap over there. Or I guess the bouncy house isn't there yet. But,
Yeah.
he goes, and this is Bill talking to some kids that have come up, and he goes, "Now you're not going to open this before Christmas." And he's got a nice Santa suit on, and the white beard and the whole thing. And honestly, if it ended here, it wouldn't be that weird.
No.
You would just think, "Oh, Bill's a big-hearted guy, and he did all this stuff." Now you're going to open these before Christmas. Talking to the kid. Kid goes, "No, sir." He goes, "Good. You're a very good boy." Ooh, open it. and the kids start ripping the stuff open, and they're like, "Thank you, Santa." And then the kid's mother is standing there, and she goes, "The kids haven't had a real Christmas since their father left. Can I pay you for these things?" Bill says, "No. What would Santa need money for? My elves make all the toys. I mean, ho, ho, ho." And then they're just laughing together, and sharing. Because, right now, it's great. He gave these kids that didn't have any gifts or didn't have a great Christmas.
Yeah.
He gave them some stuff. The mother's super happy. Bill's kind of hitting it off with the mom. Everything's great. Peggy says she's looking at it, and she goes, rented snow machines, all these lights. It's like a carnival. I wonder how Jesus feels about this.
Yeah.
And this is one of my favorite ones is Hank says, "Well, it's Christmas and Bill's happy. I'll tell you how Jesus feels. Great." I love that.
Great. Yeah.
All right, later at the Hill House, Hank and Bobby and Peggy are all in the living room. Hank has the TV guide out. When's the last time you saw a TV guide? Been long.
Been a really long time since
Yeah.
like a physical one. I remember the newspaper used to have it in there for the week. It
Yeah,
would
they
have,
had
like,
the
week,
thing called Parade.
Yeah, Parade.
Yeah, Parade magazine, and then they had the one with all the listings in it. And then there was the actual little TV guide
The actual
magazine.
TV guide magazine, and then you had the channel too. If you had basic cable, you had the channel that had it on, and then they came out with the handy dandy guide.
Yeah.
I don't know who the first one to do that was, but I remember the guide on the TV as
I gotta
well.
tell you,
And now that's the standard is the TV guide
Yeah,
on all
sure.
cable.
This is
dish,
2024. We're staying. Okay, this is an aside, real quick,
Okay.
because before we get into the TV guide stuff. Went to Orlando. Got there, got our room assigned to us. Walked all the way. So it's an older hotel. It's almost like I don't know. It's got like the center pool and then all these buildings around it, that are each hotel rooms and stuff. It was an older place. Wasn't that great, but it was fine. Walked into our room. Hey, there's a lady taking a shower in our shower.
Oh wow, that was fun.
And so we were like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." Go back up to the desk with all our crap. And I said, there's somebody in there and they're taking a shower. And they looked at the computer and they were like, "Nope, nobody's in there." I said, "Listen, I just came back from there and scared the shit out of this lady." So then they gave us some keys to another room. We went to that room. The keys didn't work. We had all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just us until I had some folks come through here this last week that I met there. One of them's in Dallas, one of them's in Austin. And they came and met here. And we were talking about that same hotel. Apparently, they dumped all their stuff there and then went out to eat or whatever, came back. Somebody had taken a crap in their toilet. And then later in the week, they came in, somebody had peed in the toilet. It just didn't flush. So it had to be like an employee.
Oh wow!
Because
so
who
there's
else
like an
has the
employee
card?
just like
They just came in the room and took a dump.
rogue dumping in random toilets in the hotel.
Yeah.
What if there's just like a group of bus boys that go around just dropping deuces in random
If
toilets?
anybody wants to know, I'm not going to say it on this, but if anybody
Yeah.
wants to know what to avoid, send me a letter. I will, or an email or whatever. I will
A
let you
letter?
know.
Yeah.
Send me post office box. No, if you send me a message or something, I'll tell you where to avoid in Orlando because that is rough. All right, so later at the Hill House, again, they're all sitting in there looking at the TV Guide. Hank is flipping through it. I used to get the TV Guide. I always wanted a subscription to the TV Guide. My mother would never get one. So we'd pick it up at the grocery store every once in a while. And what I would do is I would open the TV Guide and just start circling what I wanted to record for the next week.
Okay. Yeah,
just like the Sears catalog or something.
Now we go to Pirate Bay and circle what we want to download.
Yeah. Hank says, hey, this is perfect. Tomorrow's Christmas service falls right between the Aloha Bowl and the Ojai Bowl. I think it's like, I don't know how you say it. Oahu Bowl. And Oahu Bowl. Thank you so much. Artie's going to be pissed at me with all of his.
Which I actually got an artifact for the Wahoo and all that bowl.
Okay, go for it.
So the Aloha Bowl was operated between 82 and 2000.
Yep.
This would be the last Aloha Bowl that Hank is excited to watch right here.
Oh, wow.
In 2002, they created the Hawaii Bowl. The Oahu Bowl, the Hula Bowl is another one, and the Hula Bowl is actually an all-star game that started in 1960. It paused in 2008 and was revived in 2020 as it played in Orlando, Florida. So there's 3 different ones. You would have the Aloha Bowl, the Oahu Bowl, and then now it's called the Hula Bowl, which from what I understand about all of these games, it was always the all-star college game. So it was all the Aloha Bowl was all the college athletes. The Oahu Bowl was all the top college athletes. It's kind of like the NFC, AFC.
It's like
pro skills stuff
like
they do now.
Pro
They don't really
Bowl.
play a game anymore. It's a pro skills match is all it really is.
And I
like it. I thought it was way more competitive. Did you watch the Pro Bowl this year?
No.
It was way more competitive. The flag football thing was so fun to watch. It was insanely fun, man.
I just stopped watching it a long time ago because it's millionaires out there playing football with each other, and the ones that really matter, they're not playing in it because they're going to be in the Super Bowl, you know? And so I was and plus there's never any defense and stuff, and I'm just, I don't care.
Yeah, it became a flag football. It's flag football now.
Yeah, no, I think what they're doing with it now
I think that's why they were
way more popular.
I think that's what it was attempt to do is the traditional football, none of the players were playing hard.
No, they don't want to get hit.
Because they don't want to get hurt. Nobody wants a career-ending injury in a game that doesn't mean anything.
Pro Bowl.
So now they've switched to doing it to where they're all just out there in like shorts and sweats and sports gear, and they're nothing crazy, just throwing the ball and having fun. That's what I liked about it this year.
So Christmas service falls right between Aloha Bowl and Bobby says, and we can top the whole day off with Christmas Smackdown. So we got our wrestling stuff.
There we go.
Hank says, Christmas Smackdown. Oh, here it is. He's looking in the TV Guide. He goes, hey, Dennis Rodman's going to be a guest referee. Boy, you know that guy's catching a folding chair to the head. Peggy says, the Worm. So that was Dennis Rodman's nickname when he played basketball. He was really good at rebounding, and so they would call him the Worm because he would get up in there and get the rebound and stuff. I just put a whole bunch of question marks after this because why does Peggy know his nickname?
I don't know. I actually looked up the there wasn't a SmackDown Christmas, but there was a December 25th edition of Raw.
There you go.
And it was the Hardy Boy.
I don't know.
The headliner was the
SmackDown
Hardy
even
Boys.
A thing at that time.
Defeated Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko. I don't know. I think SmackDown was around. SmackDown's been around since like the 80s. I think.
Really?
I think so. Yeah.
I thought Raw was the only one, and then they would have like Raw specials or something, and they would call them SmackDowns and stuff before SmackDown actually existed.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that part.
So Hank says, "Wait a second. Sorry, Bobby. It's rated TV 14. Last time I checked, you were still 13." Bobby says, "Come on, Dad. I tell you." He goes, "I tell you what. I'll just close my eyes when things get too colorful." Hank says, "Nice try, Mister, but I've seen the way you watch TV. You never blink."
Yeah, you never.
I love that.
Yeah,
never blinks. All right, next day. It's Christmas Day.
Actually, sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, all good.
Okay, so I did look it up. There was a Christmas SmackDown episode. It was in. It was on December 21st, 2000 was the episode. And
so not on Christmas Day.
It was not on Christmas Day, but that would have been like their Christmas episode.
Sure.
And the wrestlers, it was the Dudley Boys versus Lowdown.
Freaking Dudley Boys.
Ivory versus Jacqueline to retain the WWF's Women's Championship.
Yeah.
Chris Rock and the Hardy Boys defeated the Radicals.
Wait a minute. You just said Chris Rock?
No, Chris Jericho.
Okay, thank you.
It was Chris Jericho.
You said Chris Rock, and I was like, when
Chris
the
Rock.
fuck did Chris Rock
Yeah,
wrestle?
not Chris Rock. It was Chris Jericho and the Hardy Boys with Lita defeated the Radicals with Terry Runnels in a 6-man tag match.
Oh, wow.
William Regal versus Hardcore Holly.
William Regal.
That's
Good
the
Lord.
one. With Stone Cold Steve Austin was the guest referee. I'm doing this for one of my buddies that watches it. He's a big wrestling
man.
fan.
Yeah.
Crash Holly and Molly Holly defeated Kai En Tai, which was Funaki and Taka Mikichinoi, Noku, however you say his name.
Yeah.
Steve Blackman defeated Raven, and that was the WWF Hardcore Championship.
These names I have not heard in a long time.
I haven't either. Some of them I can't even remember.
William Regal. Oof.
Yeah, William Regal is one of my favorite ones because he was British.
Yeah.
Billy Gunn defeated Steven Richards.
Billy Gunn, I
and
never
then
liked.
Edge and Christian versus The Rock and The Undertaker to win the WWF Tag Team Championship with Kurt Angle as the guest referee.
Kurt Angle I
Yeah.
never liked either.
And,
he had that whole All-American persona thing because I think he was in the Olympics at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, just never a big fan. Now, now that we're talking wrestling, though, one thing I did watch on the way there and then on the way back, and while I was there, was this documentary series on Netflix called Wrestlers.
Okay.
Man, that's good. It was
Is it
really,
good?
really good.
I just watched the NASCAR one, and I'm not even like a really big
Yeah.
NASCAR fan,
Yeah.
and it was really, really well done. I think it was done by Dale Earnhardt's production team, but what they did is they showed Michael Jordan's team on there too, like the racing team that he's a part of,
Yeah.
because he has Denny Hamlin on there, and he's the guy who's won the most races but never got the championship.
Yeah.
He's like the most winning racer in history, and he's on Michael Jordan's team. They like co-own the team, I think, together. And it was really good done. It was a really well done series, I thought.
My favorite NASCAR name of all time, Dick Trickle.
Dick Trickle, is that
Dick
like a
Trickle. He was
is
a
it
racer.
like an old
he
80s
was an actual racer.
90s?
Yeah, Dick Trickle.
That's funny.
No, this series, Wrestlers, it is. Do you remember Al Snow?
Yeah, I remember Al Snow.
So
yeah.
he now runs Ohio Valley Wrestling,
Oh, okay.
which
Which is like a farm for
yeah,
the WWE. and stuff,
OVW
right?
used to be like a farm team for WWE and those other places.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore, but there's still some folks there that get contracts, right? But they have to work like twice as hard.
Yeah.
None of these people get paid hardly anything. They just do it for the love of it and hope that they're going to be a star one day. But Ohio Valley Wrestling is one of like the last, old school independent wrestling companies.
Yeah.
And it's all about Al Snow running it and these two new owners coming in and buying it and stuff. It was just really good. It was like almost heartwarming and stuff. I mean, it was just it was great.
Well,
Yeah,
I like seeing some
really
of
enjoyed it.
those old wrestlers that got screwed over in their careers. I like seeing them get a leg up somewhere else if they weren't able to get it in the wrestling industry. Because lo and behold, all this drama that's come out about Vince McMahon.
Sure.
Imagine how much of the money that he's made has been because he's got to screw somebody else instead of
not
paying
good.
these guys what they're worth. He was just naming dildos after him instead of paying them what they're worth.
Al Snow, I remember Al Snow, and I remember him being like half crazy and stuff, because he was carrying around that mannequin head and all that.
Yeah.
He wrestled with Mankind a few times.
Yeah,
and stuff
I
because
like
they were
him.
both nuts, and that
Cactus
kind of thing.
Jack, what all his
Yeah.
monikers. Yeah.
Cactus Jack. What was the hippie one? Anyway, he has several characters. But anyway, he goes to Ric Flair's final match and meets all these people and all these wrestlers in the back telling him hi and stuff. So you get to see a lot of the older ones, from way back. And
Mick
stuff.
Foley is his real name.
Yeah. Dude Love. That's the one I was thinking
Dude
of. Yeah,
Love,
he did
yeah.
a Dude Love
Dude
thing.
Love. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
All right, Christmas Day. There's tons of people at Bill's house. There's cars honking, all this stuff up and down the street there. Hank and the family are stuck kind of in traffic on their own street. They can't even get into their
Can't
parking.
get anywhere. Yeah.
And you hear Bill back there, Merry Christmas, and then you see some carolers come by and all this stuff. Bobby's in the back. Of course, he's got his Sunday suit on. Hank's got his Sunday suit on. He goes, better home, Dad. It won't feel like Christmas Day if we miss a little drummer boy. Hank says, I'm doing the best I can. Wait a minute. You're being sarcastic. You don't have any interest in seeing that little boy play his heart out, do you?
He doesn't
Bobby
know care in the
"Nope."
world.
He goes, nope. Dale in a Santa hat and a tuxedo T-shirt comes up to Hank's car window and says, valet parking is $5. Valet of the Dales is not responsible for lost or stolen articles. I don't remember him calling it that, but what a great
That's a good line. Valet of the Dales.
Dales. Yeah, like Valley of the Dolls.
Valley of the Dolls, yeah.
Hank says, Dale, I'm just going to park in my driveway. Dale puts a ticket on his car anyway and says, that lot's full, but Bill says I can put overflow parking poolside at Luann's house.
I don't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, you're good.
It's actually could almost be a double entendre because Dale means valley, so valet, Valley of the Dales.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So
Bars
he,
from Dale, yeah.
Dale looks down the street and he goes, Arsadio, la bamba le automobila, no scratcho, comprende? Just the crappiest thing.
La Bamba, yeah, come on.
Yeah, Hank gets out and starts walking away and just out of your way. And then we see across the street the lady and those kids are back, and Bill says, hey, you're back. And the mother says, I have got to find some way to thank you for everything. Does Santa like chicken? And Bill says, fried, jerk, boiled, or boiled? Broiled or boiled, sorry.
Broiled.
And
yeah.
she says,
boiled chicken.
Boiled. After she goes,
it's only good to boil off the bone.
Well,
if you're just boiling the chicken and then eating boiled chicken,
the only thing
it's like the guy who buttons the top button.
Yeah,
he eats boiled chicken straight out of the water.
The only boiled chicken I can think of that we eat is like when she makes chicken and dumplings or something. You know, that's
but it's boiled.
But it's
in
not
a,
even
it's
boiled
in a
chicken,
bone broth or stewed in a bone broth. Like people who boil the chicken
pot
and
of
then
water boiling
take the chicken out and put it on a plate from that. Yeah, mental.
And then
no season, nothing.
Well, I think you know that it's time to call the hospital whenever they drink the water out of the pot. You know,
no.
That would be gross.
Oh no.
She says after the holidays, I'm going to cook you a homemade chicken dinner. He goes. Bill says, and will you eat it with me too? She goes, Bill, I could just wrap you up. And she hugs him and stuff. I mean, he's very happy. Hank sees it. Hank's happy. You know, it's great. All right,
Bill's
now
being a weird creep and he's not bothering anybody.
Yeah,
this is kind of creepy in a sense.
Well, it is to a
because
certain
all of
degree.
these kids are coming through and he's playing Santa for all these kids, and all these mothers who are single are now bringing him plates of food and gifts and things like that, and he's enjoying it. So he's exploiting all of these women who are from broken, relationships, and he's exploiting their sadness.
I don't think Bill means it that way. He just wants any kind of attention.
No, but he's so blind by his own narcissism. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. He's so blind by his own narcissism he can't see where this is. That's why he doesn't understand here in a little bit. He doesn't understand what he's doing wrong.
No, absolutely not. Okay, so now it's night at Santa's Village. We see the mechanical Santa and reindeer up on Bill's roof, and it's like back and forth so that it's moving. It's making a ton of noise. It's got a ton of lights that are flashing and stuff. We see Hank and Peggy in bed, and you can hear the noise, and you can also – the lights are just flashing in their bedroom the whole time.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Inconsiderate, too.
Peggy says and she made a date with him, and Hank says, yep, they're going to have chicken. She says, well, I suppose we can suffer through this racket if it means Bill will be spending more time with a woman he knows he's there. Hank says, yeah, and it's just till New Year's, and it all comes down. She goes, you know what? We can just pretend that all that noise is the ocean. Yes, it's working. And then Hank is laying there, and his eyes are just wide open, like he can't even go to sleep. Now, all right, next thing we see, Hank is taking down his lights, and he's up on a ladder. The boys are down there watching, everybody but Bill. And the thing I love about this is Hank is taking each light down individually and polishing it before he puts it away.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. He goes, looks like it's going to be a great new year. And then you see a party rentals truck come over at Bill's. Dale and Boomhauer are kind of watching this. He says, looks like it's going to be a great new year. Notre Dame lost. Bill had a great Christmas, and now he's taking down his decorations instead of trying to hang himself with them. Jeez.
Shit.
And what you got against Notre Dame? I mean.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. I did read a fan theory about Hank being autistic.
I can see that.
I read a fan theory about it.
That was before we really knew about the
before we
spectrum.
knew about before it was clearly defined. I think. Clearly defined on a social scale. The actual terminology and usage has been since like the 70s.
Sure.
But like the actual public understanding of it, at this point, no, for sure not. I don't even think that it's been publicly understood for like maybe the last like 10 years.
Yeah, maybe. Hank has said, at least he's not going to hang himself. God,
That's
almighty,
terrible.
just
Yeah,
nuts.
that is terrible. The tinsel, just you see him hanging, just tinsel. They're like caught up in the
can't.
tinsel like this. Just like how much tinsel would you need to hang yourself
And the other
with,
thing
though?
is, it's not that strong. So you would have to wrap it around several times or something and do
Yeah,
like
tinsel
2 or
would be
3
the
pieces.
worst. I can understand with maybe like the wreath.
Maybe the Christmas lights.
The
you
wreath
know?
with the Christmas lights, like hanging yourself
Yeah.
with the wreath and the
Yeah,
Christmas
maybe.
lights. I don't know why we're exploring this.
Woo, Lord. So Dale turns around and he sees the truck go away, and we see a giant inflatable Santa bouncy house inflate right behind the truck.
Yeah.
Bill is just in there, just woohoo, woo, just jumping around. He's still dressed like Santa. And so this is, I guess it's New Year's Day. It might be the day after. Hank or Dale looks at it and goes, looks like they hired professionals or very dedicated amateurs. And then the truck rolls away. They see the giant inflatable thing, and Hank's like, what the? And Dale looks at it and goes, they start Christmas season earlier and earlier each year. And then you just see Bill jumping up and down like nuts. And that is the first commercial break. We'll take that, and we will be right back.
Snack Attack is a podcast about the history of your favorite snacks, candies, and treats. Each 5-minute or less episode features the history of a great snack from around the world. We'll also visit what the status of the snack is today and give you a little knowledge to lord over your friend. Snack Attack is available anywhere you get your podcast or at roguemedianetwork.com. Let's get snacking!
Step into the unexpected with Cultastic, or How to Start a Cult Without Really Trying. A podcast where cult creation unfolds in the most unpredictable way. Join us on a unique journey into the world of theoretical cult formation. Unlike any other podcast, each episode of Cultastic is co-written in part using ChatGPT, and we let it decide our fate, good or bad. What makes Cultastic truly intriguing? We don't know what's coming each week. Together with our AI co-author, we'll discover and build this cult, one episode at a time, exploring various aspects of cult dynamics, leadership, and group psychology. Delve into themes of charisma, influence, and the power of group thinking. It's a blend of expert analysis, theoretical exploration, and the unforeseen twists of AI-generated ideas. Remember, Cultastic is an exercise in imagination and education where we weave a narrative one episode and one tenant at a time. Curious about where this journey will take us? Subscribe to Cultastic or How to Start a Cult without really trying on your favorite podcast platform or at roguemedianetwork.com. Let's build this mission to save the people of Earth, week by unpredictable week.
All right, and we are back. Bill is still jumping in the inflatable Santa bounce house with a bunch of kids in there, which is weird.
Really weird.
Boomhauer and Dale are watching him. Bill is still, like I say, in his Santa suit, and he starts screaming at the guys, "Hey, guys, take off your shoes. Come on in. I'll tell you, January's a month to rent a Santa bounce house. I got a hell of a deal." Yeah, I bet you did, Bill.
Yeah.
Nobody wants it in freaking January.
Nah, nobody wants it. And then that's what I'm saying is like we're way past
Oh, yeah.
what is normal.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I took my lights down, I think, January 2nd.
Well,
Yeah.
the light thing has become like 24/7, the lights.
Yeah.
But like if you leave the inflatable Santa, the Christmas tree, the reindeers,
It's a whole different.
and the whole front yard, you know, that's different. Because in Texas, it's I think it's become like you see it fairly often in neighborhoods and stuff like that where people
Well,
have some type of
You even see like
string
Halloween lights and stuff now.
Yeah.
around here.
Well, there's the 12-foot skeleton trend too. Have
Oh
you
my
seen that
God,
on the
there's
internet?
So many skeletons.
There's a page called 12-foot skeletons where people keep these Halloween. It's a Halloween decoration. It's this
Yeah.
massive skeleton, and they decorate it year round for the
Yeah.
holidays.
Yeah.
And so you'll like these people will have like
I've seen like
a
where
Christmas outfit on it, and
I've
and,
seen where like the HOAs hate it. Like the HOAs are telling people to take them down and all this.
you know, I
stuff.
never understood the HOA thing.
It's bullshit, is what it is. It's a way to.
Are you
pay-
in an HOA?
No.
Yeah, I would. I imagine there's probably not a lot of Texas.
I am kind of
neighborhoods
surprised
that
that we
aren't.
don't have one where we're at, though.
Well, yours is it's an older neighborhood, isn't it? Over there.
Our house was built in '99.
Okay,
So, I mean, it's not
yeah,
that
yeah,
old.
it's not that
honestly,
old. Yeah.
Yeah, for a house, it's not that old.
No.
All right, so Bill is still Santa. He's telling him you got a hell of a deal. Hank says, "Come on, how about taking all this down? Yeah, that's a great idea. I'll help." And Bill very adamantly says, "No, I can't take down Santa's village. You see how happy those kids are?" And they're just jumping. And Hank says, "Well, they do like jumping."
Yeah, of course
so
they
matter
do.
of fact.
Of course they do.
Bill says, "Yeah, and someone I have a lot of respect for once told me that Christmas is about giving and love." Hank says, "Yeah, we all got Boomhauer's Christmas card too last month in December, but," and then Bill interrupts him. He goes, "Hank, there'll be plenty of time for these kids to be beaten down by life, but if I can help bring a little joy and love into their world now, shouldn't I?" And then Dale, of course, jumps in. "Why do you hate love, Hank?"
Yeah, why?
All right, and then we see Bobby, Joseph, and Connie walking down the street. They just kind of got nothing to do. Bobby's a little ticked off because he can't watch his wrestling. Joseph says, "Well, so much for my New Year's resolution." And Bobby says, "Who says a mustache has to go across the whole lip?" You hear Bill, he comes out to the kids, and now the Santa suit's looking a little rough.
Yeah, looking tattered and a little dirty.
Couple of stains on it. The beard's looking a little dirty. But he comes out to the kids and goes, "Ho, ho, ho, happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day." That's February. Am I not?
Yeah.
Am I mistaken?
Yeah, that's
February,
that's
right? Okay. All right. And he goes, "Hey, why don't you kids celebrate by taking a spin in my bounce house?"
No, but Martin Luther King's birthday's in January.
Oh, it is in January.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the
all
third
right.
Monday of January.
See, that's what I thought. It's pretty late in January, right? So now we're at the third week in January.
His birthday's January the 15th, but federally they observe it on the third Monday, so you can have the federal holiday as a
Gotcha.
federal holiday.
That's still 3 weeks into the season, right?
3 weeks. Well, you got to think Christmas is
4 weeks, I guess, really, past Christmas.
4 weeks past
Yeah.
Christmas for sure, because Christmas is a week out from New Year's, and then New Year's is 3 weeks out or 2 weeks out from So it's way too long
We're
to
a
be still
month-
talking about Christmas.
We're a month away from Christmas.
You got
now.
people that are discussing Easter and and Valentine's Day and stuff like that. Yeah.
He goes, "Hey, why don't you kids celebrate by taking a spin in my bounce house?" Bobby says, "Have you been talking to my dad?" "Well, guess what? We're not little kids. We don't jump in bouncy houses." I don't know why he's so pissed off. I guess because of the
I don't get it
TV-14 thing.
Yeah.
But then he walks away. Now you see Bill up on the roof. He is changing out Rudolph's nose, the little light bulb. The lady with the kids drives up, and she gets out. The kids aren't there, but she has a casserole dish she's bringing to Bill. I'm assuming this is the chicken dinner, right? And Bill says, "Hey, you're right on time." She goes, "You're still doing this?" He goes, "Yeah, just around the house. They won't let me on the army base like this anymore. So where are the kids? Sam and Emma, right?" She goes, "I got a babysitter." He goes, "Oh, I thought we might." And then this little guy comes up dressed like an elf, and he goes, "Hey, mind if I knock off early? I don't think any kids are coming by today." He goes, "All right, see you tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock sharp." And then he looks at the lady and goes, "That's the Arlen midget. He comes with the bounce house."
Wow. Yeah, that's rough.
That's the Arlen
That
midget.
is rough. And the sad part about this
Lord.
is this woman was coming over to
Yeah.
put herself out there to him,
She
like
thought
she
Bill
wants
was
to
so
date
sweet.
him.
Yeah.
like bringing over a casserole, said I got a
Ugh.
babysitter. Like she's trying to have an adult night with him, and
So after the elf leaves, he looks
Man.
at her and goes, "Shall we?" She goes, "Why don't you just enjoy the chicken? You can keep the dish." And she starts leaving.
yeah, she's ready to
He goes,
run
"Yeah,
away.
but you and the kids are still coming over Sunday night for haircuts, right?"
I like their
Haircuts."
hair long.
She goes,
Yeah.
"I like their hair long." She drives off. All right, so now we're at Washer World, which is open 24 hours, by the way, because it says so on the sign. Bill is taking his suit out of the washing machine or dryer, I guess, and he goes, "No!" And you hear a guy on the side say, "You should have used cold water." He goes, "Yeah, but that doesn't get the stains out." And by the way, the Santa suit is now a little small, and it's
A little small.
and it's pink,
yeah,
like it's everywhere it was white.
He's
it's pink.
holding on too long right here.
Oh,
He should
Lord have
let
mercy.
go.
He goes, "Yeah, but it doesn't get the stains out." He goes, "Hi, I'm the Milton Street Santa." That's the part that confuses me. Where the hell is Milton Street?
Yeah, that's one of the things that people.
I thought he was right across the street from
Well,
him.
that's what people always say too. But remember, the alley
I guess
connects
it's
the back of the
across
houses.
yeah, I
So
guess
if it's
you're
across
right.
the alley, he's going to be on a different street. See,
Okay,
this is
so Rainey
this is
in the
a
front, Milton
often
in the back.
discussed thing in
Gotcha.
social media
Okay.
about King of the Hill. They discuss this on Reddit and all that
Yeah.
about the street and what street's which, because a lot of it doesn't make geographical sense
No.
when you talk about where people are located on the street and that
I mean,
kind of
I
stuff.
understand it's an
So,
animated show, but still, it's
If
kinda,
you say Rainy Street Alley,
yeah,
the alley could be Rainy Street Alley, or
Yeah,
it could
sure,
be Milton
sure.
Street Alley, because it's the alleyway.
I guess it's
for
a Milton Street alley, honestly.
Both of the street, like
But isn't it the
That's how
back
I
of
always-
Hank's house facing the front of Bill's house?
and that's where I think a lot of the weirdness comes.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't like it.
how it works.
They
comes
should have
into
just said
play.
Rainy Street.
Because most alleys, and this is, I drive all over Texas. I'm in every
Yeah.
major city in Texas, and
Every alley.
most alley, well, not every alley, but I'm in a lot of the major cities and the
Yeah.
alleys and stuff like
Yeah.
that, where they're just not used for anything really other than delivery drivers or
Yeah.
whatever like that. There's just not a thoroughfare where people are just
Mm-mm.
driving down alleys like people drive down this alley. This alley seems like it's a
It
street,
seems like a street.
not
yeah.
an alley.
He goes, "Hi, I'm the Milton Street Santa," and the guy says, "I'm Wally. Hey, Santa, can you lend me $2 for the dryer?"
Ryan Felipe.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, something's up. The guy's already asking him for $2.
Yeah, something's up.
Bill says, "Sure. Which one's yours?" He goes, "Oh, I got them soaking at a place a few blocks away, but nobody there had the Christmas spirit, if you know what I mean." And Bill, of course, looking for any sort of attention, says, "Of course I do." He goes, "I got a lot of blue jeans in there. You ever wear wet blue jeans?" And then Bill hands him some money, and he goes, "Man, this is the best Christmas ever." And he leaves, and Bill puts on the tiny little pink Christmas suit.
He's the guy I think who's married to Reese Witherspoon, isn't he?
Yeah, I believe so. Now,
Oh yeah, he is.
all-
He is Reese Witherspoon's husband.
all four of the guys are in the alley. Bill is standing there in his disgusting pink tiny Santa suit. He has to pull the beard down every time he takes a drink out of his beer. Hank says, "Bill, why don't you take Marilyn out someplace nice for Valentine's Day? Women like Valentine's Day. They find it romantic." He goes, "Oh, Marilyn's gone." Of course she is. He says, "Bill, even Troy Aikman takes off his uniform after the Super Bowl." Bill says, "How do you know?"
Yeah.
All right, now we see the next thing we see is Bill. He's got the covers up to his neck, and we find out he's on the couch, not in his bed, which I'm assuming that's where Bill sleeps. It's just on his couch.
Yeah, probably so.
You hear a bunch of people laughing. He goes outside, and he's like, "Sam, Emma," because he thinks those kids are in the bouncy house. And then we look over, and it's a bunch of teenagers making out in the bouncy house. Wally, the guy that got the $2 from him, is standing in there. He goes, "Hey, Santa, remember me? It's Wally, little boy from the laundromat." This is no little boy. This guy,
no, not at all.
this guy's like 30. He goes, Bill says, "What are you doing here?" He goes, "Hey, I hope you don't mind. I told my buddies how cool you were, and they all had to meet you." And the other guy just goes, "Yeah, can we have some money?" I mean, and Wally says, "He means candy canes." Bill says, "Well, I'm out of canes, but I still have 10 pounds of Rice Krispie treats shaped like reindeer." 10 pounds!
That's a lot of Rice Krispie treats.
That's a lot. Those
'Cause
things don't weigh
they're-
anything.
They don't weigh much. Yeah.
10 pounds. All right, next thing we see is Hank pulls up into his driveway, and when he gets out of his truck, he looks over, and there's a Heineken beer bottle laying on the ground. And then even worse, he looks over, and somebody has peeled out in his yard.
That's
There's
terrible.
a car track in
Yeah,
his
he's
yard.
not loving that.
Ooh, boy. Hank says, "What the? Heineken?" And then you hear Wally saying, "Nice pool." And he is he's leaning over the fence at Bill's house because Luann's house is right next door. So he's looking at the pool, and Luann has kind of a crop top on and she is obviously not into this dude, but he's trying to. He goes, nice pool. What say we jump in and see what floats? What a creep. I mean, that is a creepy thing to say.
Very creepy.
As Wally's talking to Luann over the fence, and Luann says, just take your beer cans off my lawn and quit trying to read my shirt. So he's like staring at her chest, I guess. He goes, Hank walks up and he goes, you lose something over here? He goes, I am making a citizen's arrest for trespassing. Wally says, I don't think so. He goes, believe me, I've done it before. Then Wally holds up Bill's keychain that has a big old smiley face on it. He goes, hey, how did you get Bill's keychain? Okay, you're under arrest for theft too. And Wally says, he gave it to me. Now get off our property, or I'll citizen arrest you. Hank says, damn it, when Bill comes home. And then the guy starts making fun of Hank. He's like, when Bill comes home. And then he goes, what the hell are you doing? He goes, what the hell are you doing? You know, and so all his friends are laughing and stuff, and Hank storms off. Later, we're in Bill's kitchen. Bill is still in the disgusting little suit, and he's putting it together like a little winter puzzle. And Wally is sitting right next to him. He looks kind of sad, and he goes, thing is, I did something today. And Bill says, what is it, Wally? He goes, well, I bought you a gift. It's a belt sander, but there's something else. He goes, what? You can tell me. You can tell me anything. Like he's so close with this kid.
Yeah.
Kid goes, I kind of lied at the hardware store. I told him I was getting it for my dad.
Oh, no.
And then he hands it to him, and he walks off, and Bill's just like, oh, my God, this kid thinks he's my dad. You know, and so Bill is very happy. Now we're over in Hank's yard, and we're looking at the tire tracks in his grass, and Dale says, you can make a Japanese rock garden where that tire mark is. I know a Japanese guy who might have some rocks.
Yeah, it's a silly joke.
And then Bill, you hear him say, hey, guys, we were just at the grocery store, and Wally did the cutest thing. He's talking about this guy like he's an 8-year-old or something, you know? Dale says, what'd he do? Did he ride the unicycle? Did he juggle? Hank says, did he find an adorable way to peel out of my lawn? Bill says, no, Hank, I'm not saying Wally isn't a handful, but I like a kid with spirit. And as for your lawn, it's my responsibility. I'll resod the damaged area. Fair enough? Dale, of course, steps up and goes, fair enough, and they shake hands. I don't know why Dale thinks it's his job to speak for Hank's lawn.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Whatever.
I don't think I would want anybody touching my lawn after they just tore it up.
No, and I certainly don't want Dale touching my lawn.
I wouldn't want Dale,
Look what he did with all the
Bill,
ants.
maybe not even Boomhauer. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've not seen his lawn yet.
All right, so next we see Bobby, Connie, and Joseph watching TV, and he's trying to change the channel, and he goes, he blocked the channel guide. Now I don't even know what I'm missing. And we understand that he's watching something like C-SPAN or something.
Yeah.
Hear Senator Feinstein, Senator Feingold, all that stuff. So now all three of those kids are walking down the street at night because Bobby's still pissed off about this TV-14 thing, about the fact that he can't get to certain channels. He goes, my dad is pushing every one of my buttons. And then these kids, the older kids that were in the bouncy house, they come falling drunk out into the street from Bill's house. And you hear Wally say, I believe you guys are first-time callers. I'm only going to charge you $1. And they walk up there, and Wally's sitting behind like a cooler. He opens a cooler, and it's full of beer. Bobby says, for what? He goes, beer. And then he opens the cooler, shows it to Connie. Goes, oh, we better go. And Bobby says, why? Because beer's not TV-14? Set me up, my man. Wally pulls out an Alamo 40-ounce malt liquor. It literally says malt on it. I have never seen an Alamo malt liquor.
Yeah, I haven't either. And then Bobby's line, I just usually drink 30 ounces, but hey, it's the
Hey,
weekend.
it's a weekend.
Yeah.
All right, so now the next thing we see are everybody's shoes are off. Bobby and Connie are laying in the jump house. Joseph is over there just like staring up, and Bobby says, hey, come here. You can tell he's drunk. Just think, Connie girl, when we're grown-ups and marrieds, he says like it's plural.
Yeah.
Grown-ups and marrieds. We'll get to do this every night. All I could think of was Cotton when he said that, because that sounds like how Cotton speaks.
He's getting's marrieds.
Yeah, he's getting's marrieds. Connie says, yeah, I want a house just like this with soft floors and plastic windows. Joseph's just staring up at the roof of this thing. He goes, oh, look at the stars. There's so many of them. It's just some damn stars on the inside of the friggin' bouncy house, but that's how drunk these kids are. Bobby's like, yeah, Connie's cool. And then Wally smoking, sitting in the bouncy house. He goes, the best way to sober up? Bounce around a lot. Get it out of your system. So he's just goading these kids. Like, he's getting them drunk, making them throw up, all this
that's
stuff.
terrible. You don't want to jump around after just drinking.
Yeah, they all start jumping around. Hank comes up. Bobby. He goes, "Hey, Dad, I like beer." And then he turns around and just pukes.
Yeah.
And that is the second commercial break. We'll go ahead and take that while Bobby sobers up, and we will be right back.
Ned Hillsdale, a hard-drinking, foul-mouthed ex-cop turned private detective in the city of Chicago. He lives dangerously, loves intensely, and drinks harder than anyone. The very things that got him kicked off the force now make him the city's best detective. Set against the low rumble of sad jazz and the hum of underground crime, Ned Hillsdale, Private Detective, is available anywhere you get your podcasts and at roguemedianetwork.com.
From Boobays, a horror movie podcast, comes Abaddon Eyes, exploring the Hell House LLC universe. In this thrilling podcast, your hosts will guide you through a comprehensive journey across all 4 Hell House LLC movies by acclaimed writer-director Stephen Cognetti, where we'll uncover the intricate web of supernatural occurrences, malevolent entities, and the unfortunate souls who dared to enter the cursed Abaddon Hotel. We'll look at lore and the immersive universe that is being built before our eyes in the Hell House series. Expect in-depth discussions, expert analysis, and exclusive interviews with cast and crew members, including Stephen Cognetti himself. Join us as we revisit the spine-tingling scares, unearth hidden clues, and discuss fan theories that have emerged since the release of all 4 films, and talk about the possibility of even more to come. Whether you're a devoted fan or a newcomer to the series, Abaddon Eyes offers an immersive and enlightening experience that will leave you craving more. Subscribe now and embark on a journey that will challenge your courage and leave you questioning reality. Welcome to Abaddon Eyes, exploring the Hell House LLC universe, where the horrors of the Abaddon Hotel come to life through the power of audio storytelling. You can find Abaddon Eyes, exploring the Hell House LLC universe anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. All right, we are back. So Hank has found out that Wally is giving these kids beer. He's got a drunk boy on his hands. He says, you, and you. And he's talking to Joseph, Connie, and Bobby. He says, "You go home now." And he goes, Wally says, "You get the hell out of here." He goes, "That does it. I've had just about enough of this Christmas crap." And Hank, pissed. He is pissed.
He's pretty pissed off when it comes to Bobby and stuff like that. He gets mad quick.
Well, he grabs Wally by the shirt collar and he's got him up, you know, like he's going to punch him.
He's giving
something.
the old Homer Simpson.
And he goes, "That does it. I've just about had enough of this Christmas crap." And then Wally blows smoke right in his face. Ooh. He goes, "Bill." And now we're in Bill's house. Hank is dressing down Bill, and he says, "Dang it, Bill, some of us are trying to raise kids in this neighborhood. Good kids, the kind that don't try to kill their parents in their sleep. Kids like Bobby." Bill says, "Wally would never kill me. He told me so." Dude, if that's not a red flag, I don't know what it is. He told me he wouldn't kill me.
He told me he wouldn't kill me.
That kind of communication is very important in a father-son style relationship.
That's not the kind of communication you want to have. If you have to have that style of communication, then I don't know. It's time to disconnect.
Yeah, no kidding. He goes,
"I won't live in fear of my child."
Hank looks over on the table and he goes, "What? Is that my belt sander?" Bill says, "No, it's mine. Wally bought it and gave it to me as a present." Hank says, "Yeah? Then why does it have the same serial number as my warranty card?" He's literally got the warranty card in his wallet. Yeah, it's nuts. Okay, now.
Wouldn't his wallet be like this from all the warranty cards?
It would be huge, yeah. He's got a broken spine because of his wallet. Now you got Bill sitting down on the couch with Wally, and he goes, "I know there are 2 sides to every story, but Hank was bragging about his new belt sander all last week." And Wally says, "Well, where do you think I got the idea? That egg was strutting around showing off his fancy belt sander, and I thought, hey, Bill's a better man than this ass. He should have a belt sander, so I bought you one." And then he just picks up his drink, starts slurping on it, eating his burger and stuff. So, I mean, you can tell he doesn't give a shit. Bill says, yeah, it's just, Hank had the warranty card. He goes, so this is how it's going to be. Hank good, Wally bad. And Bill says, no, that's not what I'm saying, but maybe it wasn't such a good idea given selling beer to kids. Wally says, wow, you really are like my dad. Bill's like, oh, really? Because Bill just doesn't get clues.
Still don't get it.
Yeah. He goes, yeah, he never had faith in me either, but at least he had a motorcycle. And he leaves. Bill says, Wally, building a strong relationship isn't easy. We can work through this. And Wally says, I don't like work, and then slams the door and leaves. And we get a very, very sad Bill out of this transaction.
Very sad, yeah.
So we're now in the Hill kitchen. Hank is frying up some eggs.
Why was he trying to raise a grown man, though?
I don't know.
This guy's like
again,
in his 20s or something like that, and
Bill
Bill's
just
only
wants,
15 years older than that guy.
Bill wants any kind of relationship he can have.
That's so weird.
So we're in the Hill kitchen. Hank's frying up some eggs. Bobby comes in. Obviously, he's hungover. He goes, I did 10 sit-ups, and I tried to do a push-up. Can I go back to sleep now? Hank says, you had your chance to sleep last night, mister, but you decided to go partying instead. Now get a rag and start washing windows. So he leaves. Peggy says, I almost hated waking him up this morning. But when he tried to tell me that his hangover was punishment enough, I flipped him off his mattress. That is about what my parents would have done. Bill is now banging on the sliding glass doors in the kitchen. He goes, Wally left last night, and it's all your fault. And then he just comes right in, right? Again, this is – I've never seen a neighborhood where people just barge into each other's house more than this.
Like at my parents' house, there's like people that if you're supposed to be there,
yeah,
you don't knock.
No, I get that. Sure.
So like with that, my parent, like I hate knocking doors too. That's like the rule to like my house. If you're there at my house and you're supposed to be there, then don't knock, please. Because generally a knock to me, anytime I hear a knocking door, to me it signalizes there's somebody here that's not supposed to be here. Yeah.
So Bill, he finally comes in. He goes, you broke my family. Hank says, Wally was not your family. My God, I've thrown out propane tanks that would make a better son than Wally.
That's rough.
And
That's tough.
Bill's like, but he's all I had. And then he storms off. Peggy, here's your shitty Peggy sighting.
Shitty Peggy.
She goes, oh, poor Bill. He probably shouldn't be alone. But he will be. And that's it. That's all she said. She's like, yeah, he will be.
And that is, we've got a note right here from Artie. Hashtag shitty Peggy.
That's right, man. That's it. Artie's on it. Okay, so now we're in the alley. We got all four. Bill, not dressed as Santa now, because I think he's taking a clue and he knows it's over. But he is facing the other direction from all the guys, and he's like pouting, the whole time. Dale says, wait. I got it. Bill wants to have a child, and Hank's urethra is too narrow to have another child. Ergo, Bill should inseminate Peggy. Everybody's happy. Hank literally punches Dale in the arm, and Hale goes, ow, didn't hurt. And then he starts rubbing his arm and walking off and goes, Nancy, like, because he got punched in the arm. Now we got Bill at his house at night. He's laying on the floor, which it just seems normal for Bill. He's drinking beer, and he hears the phone ring. And he picks it up and he goes, what? Where are you? And then the next thing we see is we got dinner with Hank, Peggy, and Bobby. And again, Bill bursts through the front door this time. Just comes right in. I just wrote down, no locks. There's no locks in this neighborhood.
None whatsoever.
Bill says, I got a call from Wally. And Hank says, where is he, jail? He goes, yes, some trumped-up charge. He can't survive in jail. You got to help me bail him out. He goes, no way. Things got out of hand in the first place because you didn't lay down the law with Wally. Bill says, Hank, please, you were right. I don't know how to be a father. All the books about it are by comedians.
Well, it's kind of funny because I just Googled that real fast, like 10, how to be a dad books written by comedians. And there's quite a few of them. Ben Falcone's
I'm sure there's
one.
A ton of them, yeah.
Yeah, and it's all comedians. That's funny, though, that's a thing.
He goes, all the books are by comedians, and I never know when they're kidding and when they're serious.
Jim Gaffigan even has one called Dad is Fat by Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah, well, he had a special called that, too. So he goes, please, I need your help. And he's talking to Hank. He goes, no. He goes, you do everything right, but if you didn't, I'd be there for you. And could you drive? Wally hasn't returned my car. Next thing, we're at the Arlen police station. You got Bill and Hank on one side of the table. You got a cop on the other side. And then you got Wally over in a chair. He's handcuffed to the chair. And the cop is telling him, he goes, the car was crammed with cartons of cigarettes, packs of jerky lighters. Jerky lighters? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is either.
All your big ticket impulse items. He says you okayed the use of the credit card and use the automobile. Is that true? And Wally says, the jerky was for you. Like he's still trying to get it from Bill. Bill looks at Hank and goes, Hank, what should I do? Hank says, well, I'd lock him up for what we know he did and then toss on a few extra years for what he probably did. Bill says, yeah, but if I lock him up, he won't like me. But if I bail him out, he'll just keep stealing my money and I won't like him. The cop looks at him and goes, parenting is tough. Try having my job with a kid in jail. That gets weird. All right, next thing, we're at the Army base where Bill cuts hair, and we see that Wally is now in the barber chair. Bill is shaving his head. Wally says, you know, it'd be cool if you left a little longer in the back. It'd be like our little bond. I'd like to think you oughta. And Bill goes, sorry, no can do. You might not be happy with me now, soldier, but you'll thank me someday. Wally says, for what? Making me a jarhead? Bill says, for convincing the judge that the Army is a better place than prison. Oh, and you're not a jarhead. That's the Marine Corps. You're a grunt. And then he looks over and he says, Bobby, because we see Bobby now and Hank sitting over there across the room. He goes, Bobby, if you get caught drinking again, it's going to be your butt in this chair. Ain't that right, Hank? Hank says, sure is. Now let's shave that thing off Wally's chin.
That's a good line.
Yeah.
Shave that thing off Wally's chin.
We get the credits, and then we hear Dale say, Valet of the Dales is not responsible for stolen articles.
There you go.
That's a
We're
good
back.
episode. It's a
Yeah.
decent one. But, boy, does it make you sad for Bill. Woof.
Yeah, that was a tough episode for Bill.
All right,
Bill's
man.
mental health has to be like touch and go at all times.
It's not so great. We're back officially. We will have a Friday episode coming at you. We're also going to record a swimmer's ear, so look out for that. And happy to be back. Happy to be in one place for a week. That was nice. You want to tell them where they can find us?
Yeah, you can find us at bwaaaakoth.com. That's 3 A's. You can also find us at bwaaaakoth on all social media platforms.
You got it. You got it. I would just like to thank Zach and Mason and Josh for holding the place down while I was gone for 6 freaking days.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
That is not something I've been able to do in the past, which is it's wonderful to have a competent staff, that knows what they're doing.
It's always a plus.
And I missed doing this with you, man. I just
Yeah,
a
I missed
couple
it
of
too, man.
weeks sucks.
I'm glad that we're back at it too.
Yeah,
It
it's
sucked
good stuff.
being out of I didn't even play video games.
It throws off your whole rhythm.
I didn't even get to smoke
Yeah.
weed. I just I was just completely out of sorts. I didn't even read books.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
sick sucks.
I like to consume so much media, like reading and
Yeah.
my TV shows. I couldn't even listen to music. I had a headache so bad. It was just like,
it blows.
I was like bedridden for only a couple hours.
Well,
like 2-3
hopefully,
days.
hopefully it's
Couple
not.
days, sorry.
Hopefully it's all gone and your kids.
Oh
get
yeah, I'm
better
great.
And all that
Yeah,
stuff.
we're out of the contagion the contagion stage. We could assimilate back into culture now.
We will. We'll be back on Friday with
Yeah, we'll be
That Ain't Right
back.
Friday, and we will see you guys then.
Oui, Matanye.
Hey, we Matanye, indeed. This has been a Rogue Media Network production.